Wait, what if I told you that a small, almost forgotten coin from 1937 could be worth far more than anyone around you would ever imagine, and most people who have it don't even realize its true value? It sounds crazy, but this is how hidden treasures exist in plain sight. They don't shine. They don't stand out. They quietly pass from hand to hand, blending into everyday life like they mean nothing. But sometimes, one tiny detail changes everything. Picture this for a moment. A person cleaning out an old drawer finds a few coins, dusty, worn, nothing special at first glance. Without thinking, they toss them into a jar or spend them at a nearby shop. Among those coins is a 1937 wheat penny with no mint mark, a coin that has survived decades of circulation, unnoticed, unappreciated, and completely misunderstood. And just like that, a silent fortune slips away. Now here's where it gets interesting. The 1937 wheat penny with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. And unlike coins from other mints, Philadelphia coins of that era didn't carry a mint mark. That small absence, something most people ignore, is actually one of the first things collectors look at. But don't get confused. Not every 1937 penny is valuable. The real value begins when condition enters the picture. Over the years, most of these coins were heavily used. They were scratched, worn down, exposed to moisture, and lost their original surface. Millions were made, but only a very small number survived in high-grade condition with their original brown or red toning intact. And that's where the difference lies. A normal, worn 1937 penny might be worth almost nothing. But a well-preserved one, with sharp details, clean surfaces, and natural color, can enter an entirely different level of value. Now imagine this. A coin sitting under a soft light in an auction room. Sealed in a protective holder. Graded, authenticated, verified. Collectors staring at it, not because it's shiny, but because it's rare in the way that matters. The bidding begins. Slow at first, then faster, then intense. Because everyone in that room understands something most people don't. This isn't just a coin. It's survival. It's condition. It's history frozen in metal. And when the hammer finally falls, the price is no longer surprising to them, but shocking to anyone outside that world. That's the reality of coins like the 1937 wheat penny. Now let's talk about what you should actually look for. First, check the date carefully, 1937. Then look just below the date. If there's no mint mark, that means it was made in Philadelphia. Next, examine the surface. Does it still have a natural brown or reddish tone? Are the details in Lincoln's face sharp? Are the wheat ears on the back still clearly visible? These small details decide everything. Because in coin collecting, condition is king. And here's the mistake that destroys value instantly. Cleaning the coin. It might feel tempting to make it look new, but the moment you clean it, you remove the original surface that collectors care about the most. That natural aging, that authentic tone, once it's gone, it never comes back. And with it, a large part of the value disappears too. That's why serious collectors prefer coins exactly as they are, even if they look old or dark. Now think about this. How many times have you seen an old coin and ignored it? How many are sitting somewhere in your home right now? A jar, a drawer, a box, quietly holding pieces of history that nobody has checked properly. Because the truth is simple. Not every coin is valuable, but every valuable coin looks ordinary at first. And that's what makes this so powerful. The difference between something worthless and something valuable isn't size, or shine, or weight. It's knowledge. So before you spend another old coin without looking at it, take a second. Check the date. Notice the details. Don't rush. Because something that looks like just 1 cent might actually be worth far more than you ever expected. Coin number 2. There was nothing special about that old metal tin sitting in the corner of the room. It had been there for years, quietly collecting dust, filled with loose coins that nobody ever bothered to check. Every now and then, someone would drop in spare change without even looking. Pennies, nickels, dimes, all forgotten. Until one ordinary afternoon, everything changed. Someone picked it up out of curiosity. Maybe it was boredom. Maybe it was coincidence. The lid creaked open, and with a quick tilt, hundreds of coins spilled out across the table. The sound echoed sharply, metal hitting wood, coins rolling in every direction. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Just a pile of old, worn pennies. But hidden in that pile was a single coin that would soon change everything. A 1940 wheat penny with no mint mark. It didn't shine. It didn't stand out. It looked just like every other penny in the pile. And that's exactly why it was almost ignored. Almost spent. Almost lost forever. But here's where the story takes a turn most people never expect. Because coins like this have been quietly slipping through people's hands for decades, unnoticed, unappreciated, and completely misunderstood. And yet, collectors see something very different. They see history. They see rarity. They see value. A silent fortune, hiding in plain sight. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might change the way you look at every coin you own. This particular penny was struck in 1940 at the Philadelphia Mint. And if you know anything about coin collecting, you already understand what that means. No mint mark. A tiny detail, so easy to overlook. But for collectors, it's one of the first things they check. Back then, the United States was still recovering from the Great Depression. Coin production was steady, but people weren't thinking about preserving coins. They were using them, spending them, wearing them down through everyday life. Millions of these pennies were made. But here's the truth most people don't realize. Very few survived in high-grade condition. And that changes everything. Take a closer look at the front of the coin. You'll see Abraham Lincoln's portrait, strong, detailed, and centered. Above his head, the words, "In God We Trust," curve cleanly along the top. To the side, Liberty stands clearly, and just beneath it, the year 1940. Now flip it over. On the reverse side, you'll find the iconic wheat ears, two simple stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. It's a design that feels common, almost boring, until you realize how rare it becomes in pristine condition. Because condition is everything. Here's something critical you need to understand. Most 1940 wheat pennies you'll find today are heavily worn. The details are faded, the surfaces are damaged, and the sharpness is gone. Why? Because they were used. Over, and over, and over again. That's why finding one with strong details, clean surfaces, and original toning is incredibly difficult. And that's exactly what collectors are searching for. Let's talk about its physical details for a moment. This coin is made from 95% copper, mixed with a small amount of tin and zinc. It weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. The edge is plain, nothing fancy. But collectors don't care about size alone. They look deeper. They study the surface. They examine the strike. They analyze the color. That natural brown tone you see? That's not dirt. That's history. That's decades of natural aging, something collectors actually value. And this is important. Never clean a coin like this. Cleaning might make it look shiny, but it destroys its true value. It removes the original surface. It erases the story. And in many cases, it can reduce the price dramatically. Serious collectors don't want perfect-looking coins. They want authentic ones. Now imagine this. A quiet auction room. Dim lighting. A tense atmosphere. Collectors sitting in silence, watching closely. This very coin, displayed under glass. The auctioneer steps forward. The bidding begins. Slow at first. A hand raises. Then another. The price starts climbing. 10,000. 20,000. 50,000. The room grows tighter. People lean forward. Eyes locked. Hearts racing. Because now, it's no longer just a penny. It's a competition. It's a rare opportunity. Something almost impossible to replace. The numbers rise faster. 100,000. 200,000. And then, it crosses a level that shocks everyone in the room. This single penny sells for over $265,000. Let that sink in. A coin most people would ignore. A coin that could sit unnoticed in a jar for years becomes a life-changing asset. So what makes it so valuable? It's not just the year. It's not just the design. It's survival. High-quality examples are rare because time destroys most coins. Daily use wears them down. Scratches, dirt, damage, all reduce their condition. But when one survives with sharp detail and original surfaces, collectors notice. And they're willing to pay big money. Here's the reality most people miss. Coins like this are still out there. In jars. In drawers. In old boxes. Even in your pocket. But people don't look closely. They spend them without thinking. They ignore the details. And that's why these hidden treasures keep disappearing. So before you spend another penny, remember this. Check the date. Look for the mint mark. Examine the condition. And most importantly, don't rush. Because one small mistake, especially cleaning or selling too quickly, can cost you something truly valuable. Because the truth is simple. Not everything that looks ordinary is worthless. Sometimes, the most valuable things are the ones we overlook every single day. Now think about this for a moment. How many coins have passed through your hands without a second thought? How many opportunities have slipped away, unnoticed? And how many silent fortunes are still waiting to be discovered? So go ahead. Check your coins. Look in your jars. Search your drawers. Pay attention to the details. Because the next coin you find might not just be spare change. It might be something far more valuable than you ever imagined. And if this opened your eyes even a little, make sure you stick around. Because there are secrets hidden in everyday coins. And most people will never discover them.